Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today, Wednesday morning, June 16th, 2021. The man they call Meathead, and probably the luckiest man in the history of the PWR draft, Matthew Thomas himself. Matthew Thomas. Good morning, Matthew.
You mean millionaire or $1 million Matthew?
$1 million Matthew. How long have you been sitting on that? Did you literally just come up with that now?
Well, here's the thing. I came up with that on Sunday, and then I was going to lead with $1 million Matthew, but after last night at Coors Field and the action that happened in right field, and my soft, nimble hands catching
I think you mean Tuesday night, right? Or was it Monday night? I think it was Monday.
Monday night was the game. Yeah, Monday night was the game. So, and then Sunday night was the pay-per-view. So I decided to change it up and go with $1 million Moonlight Matthew after my favorite baseball player and primary care physician, Moonlight Graham. So from now on, I shall be known as $1 million Moonlight Matthew.
I think you're doing that just to steal the To the Moon thunder. I think that's what it is.
I didn't even think about that. But yeah, I got some of the moon in there too.
Yeah. Matthew, you want to tell everybody what happened on Monday night at the Rockies-Padres game?
I was just sitting in my seat, minding my own business. And, Rockies hadn't been doing that great.
Were you actually watching the game? Are you one of those fans that was on his phone tweeting?
Oh, no, I was soaking it all in. I thought about keeping score. I thought about actually getting a score.
Do you know how?
Literally keeping score. It did 25, 30 years ago. I might be a little bit rusty, but yeah, I've kept score. And you know what? I think the first game I ever kept score for, I kept score remotely while I was watching it on TV. It was either the 1991 or the 1992 MLB All-Star game. I had me a little scorecard and I had me a little pencil, and I was keeping score. I got that scorecard somewhere. But anyway, nevertheless, Monday night I did not keep score at Coors Field. But, I was sitting there about 4 rows up and right on the ready. You never know when action's going to come your way. I kind of had a feeling that there was probably going to be some action coming my way. And sure enough, I was just sitting there in my seat, and wouldn't you know, I just look up and there it comes, and I extend my hand, and just like magic, just like I had a suction cup in my hand, that ball manages to find my hand, and then I stand up and I just present that ball to the audience, and people were just going crazy. And, we talked about potential travel plans for SummerSlam. As soon as those Sports Center royalties start coming my way, I imagine you can see me front row and center at SummerSlam.
Yeah. I mean, what you're really saying is I wasn't paying attention. I was tweeting on the Twitter machine, and then I saw this thing coming at my man marbles, and you put your hands in a way in a baseball.
Yeah, well, either way, I arose victorious with that solo home run ball, and the Rockies won by 1 run. So if not for
it would have been perfect if you would have said 1 point, because that's just about how lucky you are.
Yeah, they won by 1 point. If not for me and not for the extra motivation that I gave that team there, sitting in the 4th row, man, I'm not sure they would have pulled it out. So glad I could do what I ended up doing Monday night.
Well, Matthew Thomas, because we love hearing you talk about everything awesome that's in Matthew Thomas's life, why don't you apply that to who our sponsor is today?
What you want to do, if you want to go to our sponsor's website, you get into your web browser and you enter HTTP, and then you go //www. The www stands for World Wide Web, collarandelbowbrand.com. And then once you peruse their fine selection of garments and you make a decision on what kind of garment you want to buy to clothe your body in, if you want to save money on that garment, you enter promo code LindaK, and you go back to your keyboard and you enter in LINDAKAY, and then they have a little line item there where it shows you how much money you save, and you can use that money, to do whatever you want to with. And then you'll have shiny new clothes, and you will have saved money. And I mean, what a great combination.
Matthew Thomas, we didn't get to hear from you yet on what happened on Sunday. Let's talk about PWR draft first. I got to lead with something positive because, I mean, you're just hitting me left and right with all the Matthew Thomas stuff in the world. Let me lead with something positive in my life, and it's the PWR draft. The new leaderboard brought to you by the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe after Sunday's In Your House pay-per-view. The man they call Meathead. You know, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Now leads at 635 points, breathing on his neck with a hot breath right behind me. Linda K, 625, and way back in the distance, Matthew Thomas at 530. And it shouldn't even be that close because on Sunday night, stolen out of his hands, the $1 Million Championship. Cameron Grimes did not go to the moon. The new $1 Million Champion is L.A. Knight. Let me talk to you. Yeah.
So, middle part of the afternoon on Sunday, I'd seen what you'd done with Cameron Grimes, and I respected your move. But, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know that Meathead's made the right call. I think he's, gotten a good part of the way there, but I don't know that he's made the right call. And this will give me an opportunity to actually go one-on-one, go head-to-head with the man they'll call Meathead. We can actually pair up and see who's got that bigger professional wrestling brain. And sure enough, we went one-on-one, and wouldn't you know what I had been saying all along? I put my money where my mouth is. I've been prone to do that. You've seen photographic evidence of me actually having my money on mouth. Yeah, that exists out there. But you know what? I did it again on Sunday, and I said, you know what? It's time for me to get a little bit of skin in the game in my predictions, if you will. And so I said, you know what? I got to drop Braun Strowman. He's not going to be earning me points for any time soon. And then I picked up L.A. Knight. And wouldn't you know, my call was correct. What I had been saying on this very program about Cameron Grimes being such a stellar talent, so over and not needing that belt, it came to be. And L.A. Knight won that title and picked Matthew Thomas up a handful of points to just prime me for the next 3 WWE pay-per-views that are coming up.
On the pay-per-view, only 2 of us scored. Linda did not have any of her NXT talent perform. Matthew Thomas, he scored 155 points. Could have been 180, but because he had to take the minus 25, there you go. I scored 15. Could have been 40, but I had to take the minus 25. So it is what it is. You know what? You're going to need the next 3 pay-per-views. I mean, what are you going to do when Bobby Lashley drops the belt in Hell in a Cell to Drew McIntyre?
He may physically and literally drop the belt on the ground, but outside of that, as far as a title loss, that's not going to happen.
We'll get to that on Friday morning. We'll talk about the pay-per-view coming up this Sunday, but let's talk about one bit of sad news, actually, that we've learned about over the last day or so. In the beginning of Impact Wrestling, it was Mike Tenay and it was Don West. And Don West was a guy that was like a shopping network guy, right? Big, bombastic voice. I mean, just, 100 miles an hour, Don West. I didn't like the angle they did with him when, Don West was drinking. Do you remember that?
I do. I do remember that.
It was not fun, because we love Don West and we love to love Don West. Well, Don West's not wrestling anymore. He was doing a radio show out in, seems like in the Washington State area, probably in Seattle. This is from Don West. He issued a statement. And I'm not going to do Don West's voice because I don't have that much energy in me. Don West here to tell you about how disappointed I am not to be talking about the Seattle Seahawks, the Mariners, the Wenatchee, is that Wenatchee Wild, and everything else we love to talk about every day on the Don West Show. Many of you have wondered where I've been and why the show is on hiatus, so I want to share with you this news directly. I've been diagnosed with a brain lymphoma and will begin immediate treatment. I want to thank my wife Terry for her love and support, my family and everyone that works at Cherry Creek Media and KPQ. I also want to thank the Don West Show's incredible sponsors and friends for all my prayers that are coming my way. I'm praying the chemotherapy will help me heal faster, and hopefully I'll be back on the radio soon. Can't wait until all of this is over, and I can be back with you all again. I love you all. Don West. Don West has brain cancer.
My goodness, that is awful news, and it sounds like he is in the process of undergoing treatment. So we do hope that is successful. And, Don West, my goodness, that is a personality that I do miss in wrestling. I thoroughly enjoyed the energy.
100 miles an hour, Don West.
That he brought. Yeah. And, it's just, I would not, I was watching the Impact pay-per-view the other night, And my goodness, I think you put Don West back in Impact. He's somebody that can liven up an announce team. And,
And
it's,
this is nothing against D'Lo or because I think it's still Josh Matthews, right?
yeah,
I don't know where Striker is. But...
Matthews is back, but you've got so many broadcast teams that just sound not bad, but they just sound sterile, and they sound clinical.
Yeah.
And it's just one of the truly great and last great, I think, just personalities at an announce team. And you look at what WWE is doing right now, and with all the excitement that I had for the team they've got on SmackDown now. I think, Pat McAfee, man, I was really hoping for this over the top heel broadcaster, and we really haven't gotten that. We've just gotten, we've gotten somebody else that goes back into that kind of more or less wall of vocal sound that WWE produces. Like, I want somebody over the top occasionally, and Don West has been that person.
Yeah. Jimmy Smith is not bad on Raw. I saw him jumping up and down during the match on Monday night, leaping at the desk. Jimmy Smith is, he's called MMA, so he's had a little excitement in his voice. If it wouldn't have been for JBL bullying our guy, Morrow was that voice.
Yeah. No, you're 100%, man. You're 100%.
But, here we are. So, again, I love McAfee, but I think he's been kind of sterilized. And, Don West had that call that he would always go, high energy. I'm running out of breath. Yeah, and then he would drop down.
Yeah.
But it was still perfect. Don West was great at what he did. So, best of luck to Don West. Hopefully it's a speedy recovery. We need him back. We need him back doing Don West stuff. Literally being Don West.
Without a doubt.
Let's talk about NXT from last night. And there's been speculation. We talked about it yesterday on this very program, Linda Kay and myself. Did Regal leave NXT TakeOver in your house on Sunday, leaving the show as the last time being the general manager? And he kind of left us that cliffhanger. Well, they did not waste time. They opened up the show last night. Regal came out. He's crying. He says, 7 years. I've watched this thing grow. Myself and Triple H, we've built this thing, making sure we got everything right. Karrion Kross comes out and tells Regal, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to go. Tries to punk him. And then, boom, 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 boom. Oh, yeah, here comes Joe. Joe's gonna book you. Joe's gonna book you, because we thought Samoa Joe was being let out to the ring. Even Regal announced, hey, will you be the new general manager? Because we need somebody. Joe said, absolutely not. William Regal will stay as general manager, but he's got muscle. He's got an attack dog that will calm things down in NXT. Matthew, your thoughts on Samoa Joe punking out Karrion Kross as he left with his tail between his legs?
Before we get into Joe, are you a little bit surprised of the booking of Kross here? I know Kross has not been decisively a heel or a face, but this was a much more definitive heel move than Kross has been.
He's been wishy-washy.
Yeah, to deliver in the last, several months. I was kind of surprised to see, Kross do this. I understand why. I understand it had to be to basically get this from Joe, but I found that very interesting. No, I like it. What we saw was actually Joe getting physical backstage throughout the night.
Well, Joe cannot get physical with anyone unless provoked.
Right. And so, no, I like it. I was a little bit different than a lot of people on this. I know Joe getting involved was kind of the rumor. I was hoping that we'd potentially see Regal walk away to potentially one of the main roster shows, do his GM duties there, and actually have a little bit more camera time of Triple H in an on-screen role in NXT, because it's Triple H's baby to a large extent. I would like to actually see him, involved with it on camera as well too.
If not Triple H, who else they've got down there on a daily basis? It's a Triple H buddy.
Yep. I think he's got 3 initials. That's kind of his moniker, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. ABC was a member of the Jackson 5. No, HBK.
Yes.
If you're going to put somebody, I would think HBK would be the perfect person.
Yeah. But anyway, so no, I like what they did. It's something different and something interesting. And regardless of what role it is, my goodness, Joe's back in the saddle with the WWE.
As I'm watching this, I'm thinking, has Joe been medically cleared? Has Joe been medically cleared? Oh my God, is Joe going to be carrying Kross? That I could put my teeth into. Joe and Kross? No. Regal just said you can't be a competitor. You can't touch anybody unless provoked. Okay. I still take it, though.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me your feelings on Joe punking out Kross.
I think that if there's somebody...
Kross said nothing.
Yeah, if there's somebody that can get away with it, it's Joe. If that's anybody else on the roster, I don't think it establishes Kross in the same vision that you've been establishing him recently. But Joe, with Joe being Joe, I think it's fine. I don't think it hurts Kross in any capacity. And I think Joe and maybe Brock Lesnar are the 2 people that can get away with doing that to Karrion Kross right now.
You know what else Joe can do? Beat me in a TNA Impact video game.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Story. That's what I've heard. He's very skilled at that, from what I've heard.
Yeah, I think they were practicing. They heard I was coming. I still feel bad about low key telling him to move while he's on crutches because he's in the way of the beer.
But you know what? I don't know if you'll ever find this out definitively or not. But he can beat you in that. But I bet you can beat him in a tickle fight.
Well, we talked about tickle fights and we talked about maybe running a program together, but I don't know. He's just a big cuddly bear.
That's what you do. Next time you see Joe, man, you get about 5 feet from him and you just start saying tickle, tickle, tickle.
Yeah, that'll probably not ever happen, ever. All right, let's talk about it. So Joe, and we're kind of going to bounce around here. Joe had multiple interactions in the back where he had to break things up. Adam Cole gets in Joe's face. Joe puts a Kikina clutch on him and puts him out. I mean, just, hey, when he wakes up, get his answer.
Yeah, no, I like that. It's not something you see a lot with somebody in an authority figure role. I mean, he's more or less, he's like Regal Sergeant in Arms right now, if you kind of think
he is the Sergeant in Arms.
Wait a minute.
Which Sergeant in Arms? Are we talking about Tig from Sons of Anarchy? Or are we talking about who's the Sergeant in Arms for Aces and Eights?
Aces and Eights, that's where I was going, man. That might be the last time we saw a Sergeant in Arms
technically, Jake Hager would be the Sergeant in Arms.
Yeah.
Because the Inner Circle are rocking cuts now.
Yeah. You know what? That's honestly, that's who they need, man. They need for a frickin' Aces and Eights resurgence to kind of take care of some of that gimmick infringement.
There is a guy out there. He's working on Busted Open Radio. They've already got, one of the guys from Busted Open on the show. Might as well put Bully Ray on there, too.
I tell you, man, it's TNA Impact. It's interesting because I think in a lot of people's minds, it's been around longer than you realize until you stop and think about it. And in a lot of ways, it's not regarded in terms of nostalgia that much, but I think there would be a big nostalgia push for Aces and Eights, man. I think there are a lot of people who genuinely remember that.
Aces and Eights in AEW or in Impact?
In AEW, who genuinely remember that and had a good time with it.
I liked Aces and Eights. I really did. Thought Aces and Eights was good. I mean, they got a little weird with how many people they kept adding. Even our boy Kennedy was in there too.
Yeah,
or Anderson.
And they were trying to, I believe they were trying to get him to come over to Aces and Eights with like a bunch of prostitutes too, if memory serves me
They had
correct.
Garrett Bischoff and Wes Briscoe and
oh my goodness. If you had every last one of them, Gallows might be a little bit of an issue right now. I mean, he's over there though.
He's over there. I mean, but I think his look, it wouldn't work because, I mean, he's leathering up, but in a different form of leather.
Well, I mean, the thing of it is you could probably work it within the confines of the Good Brothers and, say, hey, Carl, I got to kind of go do my thing over here for right now, and that's a running gimmick that Carl Anderson's is always trying to get in and he can't quite get in and he doesn't know the
Carl Anderson's
password.
The Disco Inferno?
Yeah, he doesn't know the password to the clubhouse because remember they had the clubhouse?
Oh, yeah. And they do still do business with Conan.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back to
dude. Hold on one second. Taz was in Aces and Eights for a while, man. Taz is over there. You could run it, man. You could run it.
Absolutely could. We could. Aces and Eights is a dead man's hand, by the way.
That's what I hear.
So again, Joe. Now he didn't get physically involved when the women needed to be pulled apart, but he was back there directing traffic as well. I don't see him putting a Kakina clutch on, say, Dakota Kai.
You know what? If he did last night, I think we'd probably be leading with that.
Samoa Joe banned from NXT for putting a sleeper hold on a 100-pound woman.
Like he kind of tries to do the intergender thing, like the Andy Kaufman, right? But it's just a 180 because it's Samoa Joe.
Okay, so Imperium and Breezango happened last night, and Breezango got the win, but they literally pounded on Breezango and left their flag over the top of Breeze as the boos just rained down.
Yeah, I think that, the outcome here, I was a little surprised that, that Breezango picked up the win, but I mean, the point they were getting across here was how dominant Imperium looked.
Did you catch the commercial of a battery charging at just 1%?
I missed it.
Keep it in mind. Lock that away for another day. They showed some sort of battery charging, and it was only at 1%.
Oh, my goodness.
NXT Cruiserweight Title Open Challenge. Trey Baxter taking on Kushida, and Kushida obviously winning this. I do want to talk about... it's too bad we got to talk about it again because it should have been Cameron Grimes in this spot, but it's LA Knight. So I like these kind of promos. I think it went a little long. But first off, you get LA Knight coming out saying very clearly, look, dude, I wanted to be you. I grew up watching you. I mean, whatever. They say meet your idols, and then you meet your idol, and then you get to work with them in the ring. And so it was great. Then they showed the footage, or they gave him the belt, and then he was able to stop the promo, and you could see that, all right, heel time. Long story short, dude, he went after the $1 Million Man, and Cameron Grimes in for the rescue. Your thoughts on the entire segment?
Oh, I think it's great, and I think that these two are not done. You're going to see Grimes, and that's what's going to be so fun is Grimes chasing that $1 Million title. I think he's eventually
he wins it at a takeover.
Yeah, he's eventually going to get it. Hopefully on a USA Network special just to really give the people
the Great American Bash.
Yep. But here's what I think is so great with them doing this with LA Knight. Does it take a little bit of attention off of his gimmick and off of the name? And I would even be fine with him just blatantly coming out there to get more heat, calling himself the $1 Million Man at this point.
Yeah, okay. Io Shirai back working. She's going to be, out there, and it looks like she's got some tag help, right?
Yeah. No, it seems like they are, kind of gearing her up for a potential partner and a run in that women's tag team division.
You think it's going to be, and her name, just off the top of my head, I can see her face. I see her look. I mean, she's been out there forever. Blonde hair. What's her name?
Her.
Ugh. Matthew, you as always, very helpful.
Yeah. But I think that, probably the best spot here, we just transition away from it and say, she's going into the women's tag division, and I think it's a good
Zoe Stark.
Her. Yes, exactly. That was right on the tip of my tongue. And I think that makes a bunch of sense because really, what are you going to do? You don't want to give her, listening to you and Linda talk yesterday, you don't want to give her the Asuka treatment where you take your former champion and just freaking job her out every week. Doesn't look good. Women's tag division is actually a really good spot for somebody in her position where, you put her in there, let her, chase those titles, probably win the title eventually, and you still keep her hot and relevant.
The Diamond Mine opening up next week. Did you see that?
I did.
What is the Diamond?
Cool. I think we're going to have DDP's entry into NXT.
And he's going to be doing yoga with everybody. I have to ask you, Matthew, do you ever eat popcorn out of something that doesn't say popcorn on it? Because isn't that the best kind of popcorn to eat? When the bowl clearly says popcorn because we didn't understand what they were eating until the bowl said popcorn?
No, I've got bowls that I can use for various assortment of ingestible goods.
Great.
Yeah. Speaking of popcorn,
It doesn't say popcorn on it.
How about that Poppy, huh?
Yeah, Poppy. That was exactly what I was talking about. Was Poppy.
Yeah.
MSK in the back. Get ready to watch Toothless Timmy and Grandpa Ciampa take on the grizzled young veterans in a tornado match. No tags. Everybody in the ring at once. Everybody competing at once. Your thoughts on the main event here? The Toothless Timmy. I got excited there. Toothless Timmy and Grandpa Ciampa. They looked rough.
Yeah. No, it was pretty much what you'd expect here. It was a very stiff match between these two teams, and I think they made a good choice having this going last. And it was a fun match to close the show.
I always thought grizzled young veterans were a team that, because they lost 2 years in a row in the Dusty Cup in the finals. I always thought that was the team that should win it and become the NXT Tag Team Champions. But they're good workers. I really appreciate what they do. But right now, it's probably time for Toothless Timmy and Grandpa Ciampa.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, man. They work really well together. And, I don't think that – and, again, Ciampa, he's been in NXT for how long? You've got to kind of consistently change things up. He's one of those guys that seemingly has not expressed interest in going to the main roster. So if he's going to be an NXT mainstay –
not the main roster, but Johnny Gargano for a little bit.
Yeah. If he's going to be an NXT mainstay, you've got to keep things interesting, and I think that's exactly what they're doing right now.
I wonder. We know how Ciampa feels, and he wanted to go back to NXT. I wonder if Johnny thought the same thing, and they both went back down together, or did Johnny go back down because Ciampa wanted to go down?
I don't know. I don't know, man. But it's and I'm sure it's not that stark contrast between main roster and NXT over the last year with everybody being based in Florida. But my goodness, you start getting back on the road again. That's a completely different. That's a different lifestyle, and that's a different company you're working for.
Absolutely is. Well, we're not a different company. We're PWR. We've been around for a long time too. But PWR today for the morning is over, Matthew Thomas. Tomorrow, we again do not have any NXT. Tonight, we don't have any AEW Dynamite or NXT to talk about. So for the Thursday morning show, Matthew Thomas, we're going to talk about Andre the Giant and the A&E, not documentary so much, but the A&E treasures. There's a lot of stuff to get out, a lot of brand new footage that we've never seen before. A&E made sure to tell us with little watermarks on the screen of what was brand new that you've never seen before. But you've seen all the other Andre the Giant stuff, especially you've seen the HBO one, right?
Oh, of course, man. I think I had unsubscribed from HBO around that time frame and actually resubscribed just to watch the Andre, and that was about the same time the Elvis documentary came out. I think I resubscribed to watch Andre and Elvis. I wonder if they ever met each other.
It's quite possible because they were still huge. Elvis being in weight size and Andre being in, fame size in the 70s.
So let me tell you this, man, and I don't know where I heard it, and I don't know if there was actual truth or legitimacy to it, but there is a story that Elvis was a wrestling fan, and of course Elvis.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. He's from Memphis, dude.
Yeah, and Lawler, Memphis, King gimmick. There was talk apparently that there was an end game at some point to potentially have an Elvis involvement with the Jerry Lawler angle.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Of course there was. I wouldn't doubt that at all. Here's the thing. I'm not a big Elvis fan, but have I ever told you, and I think I've done it on this very program, Matthew, stop me if I've gone there already, but did you know if Elvis were alive today, he'd be covering everybody else's songs?
Oh, absolutely, man. And you've actually done quite a few. You've done quite a few. I think that there is a Meathead covers Elvis covering other people album in the works, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought of this a while ago, and I've never really brought this out before, but there's a song by Prince called Delirious. Mm-hmm. I swear to you, it's Prince doing a Prince song in Elvis form.
Yeah. I think that's reasonable. I know of this.
Because if I don't, I'm gonna explode and bang. I get delirious. I'm telling you,
I'm telling you, man. Like. I'm telling you that Meathead covers Elvis covers other people album is it needs to happen.
I get delirious. Are you?
Or maybe we wait to Dallas, man. Maybe that album is recorded live in Dallas.
Oh, kind of like Johnny Cash recording live at Folsom.
Yep. Except you're going to record it at a White Castle in Dallas.
Oh yeah, that's literally living a dream right there, live from White Castle in Dallas. It's money right there, folks. Mark it, book it, it's happening.
Absolutely.
All right, for Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they call me today. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.